We trade hours, days, even years of our lives for the things we want. You work for an hour today, you get an hour of life back. Work 5 years for a farmer, you lose 5 years off your life. For me, though, it's different. I don't trade time, I fix time. You see, my shop is special. I'm a clockmaker. All these cogs, springs, and chains, they all hold time in their gears. A watch might only contain a few seconds, but a grandfather clock could hold decades. Every timepiece has a story to tell, but I'm afraid my story is one that ends rather abruptly. It just stops. No ticking. No movement. Just a pile of dust in a silent room. My life ended the moment she did. See, I used to be a happy man. I had a beautiful wife and a daughter named Amelia. She was the sunshine in my days, the melody in my songs, and together, we'd wind our lives into the greatest timepiece imaginable. But one day, a fire consumed our home, taking them from me and leaving me with nothing but memories and a pile of ashes. I wandered through the ruins, desperate to find some trace of them, but there was nothing. That's when I found it, a small pocket watch beneath a charred beam. It had stopped at 3:07, the exact time the flames took everything from me. It was my wife's favorite watch. I carried that pocket watch with me everywhere. For years, I couldn't bring myself to wind it again, but one day I did. And when I heard that familiar tick-tock, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe if I could wind that watch, maybe I could bring them back. Maybe I could rewrite that fateful day. Unfortunately, I didn't have the proper tools to fix such an intricate piece. I made a decision. I would become a clockmaker, master the art of repairing timepieces. And maybe, just maybe, one day I'd be able to fix my watch, my wife's watch, and rewrite that day. So I poured my grief into my work. Day after day, I honed my skills, learning the language of cogs and springs. I moved into a small cottage on the outskirts of town, and soon enough, people started bringing their broken timepieces to me. They paid me in hours, days, even years of their lives, and with each one I fixed, my collection grew. I amassed decades in my home, and yet my watch remained untouched. Then one rainy afternoon, someone came to my door. It was an old friend of mine. His name is Thomas. He brought me a worn leather pouch that contained oh so fragilely a pocket watch. It was my watch. Somehow it had survived the fire. Knew it instantly. Even after all these years, I could recognize its every tick and tock. How did you get this? I asked Thomas, my voice shaking. I thought it was destroyed in the fire. It was, he said, his eyes downcast. But I found it in the rubble. I didn't know what to do with it, so I figured you might want it back. My hands trembled as I reached for the watch. Holding it, I felt a surge of emotions. Years of grief, hope, despair, love, all of them crashing over me like waves on a stormy sea. Then I saw it, a tiny crack near the edge of the glass. It was barely visible, but I knew exactly what it meant. This watch held not just memories, but potential. If I could fix the crack, I might be able to wind back time. Not the world's time, no, that was beyond my reach. But maybe, just maybe, I could fix my daughter's time. The idea consumed me. Day and night I worked on the watch. I replaced the broken spring, adjusted the balance wheel, and polished the gears until they gleamed like new. Finally, I put the finishing touches on the watch, and as I wound it, the familiar tick-tock filled the air. It was music to my ears. Looking closely, I saw the hands move forward, inch by inch, minute by minute. It was so fragile, so delicate, like a newborn bird testing its wings for the first time. But that wasn't enough. The watch was fixed, yes, but it needed more than just a good repair. It needed power, and the only power source I knew of was my life force. I could feed the watch my life energy, giving it the strength it needed to turn back time. But that meant giving up part of myself, a piece of my soul. I thought about it long and hard. The possibility of seeing my daughter again, of hearing her laughter fill our home once more, it was worth any cost. With trembling hands, I placed the watch on my workbench and closed my eyes. This was it. I was about to gamble my existence on a broken timepiece. I focused all my being on the watch, willing it to take my life force, to let me rewrite that fateful day. And then it happened. The room started to spin, the walls blurred, and the last thing I remember was the sound of my own laughter echoing through the cottage. When I woke up, I was lying on my workbench. The watch was beside me. Its hands were moving. It had taken all 10 years I had left. But when I looked around, everything seemed the same. The tools on my workbench, the clock parts scattered on the table, they were all in their usual places. Had it not worked, had my hopes once again been dashed against the rocks of reality, and I saw it, a faint glow coming from the corner of the room. I turned my head and my eyes widened in disbelief. Standing in the doorway was Amelia. She was alive. She was well. Most importantly, she was real. This wasn't a figment of my imagination or a trick of the light. But what did surprise me was that she didn't seem any older. She was still the little girl who skipped through fields of daisies, who helped me fix broken clocks, and who loved listening to my stories of adventure. "Amelia," I whispered, my voice hoarse with disuse. "Is that really you?" She turned around and smiled, her eyes sparkling with life. "Of course it's me, Papa. Did you fix my watch?" She stepped into the room, and I noticed how her feet moved a little slower than before. Her eyes seemed a little dimmer. She looked at me with a smile and said, "It's so good to see you again, Papa. Did you fix my watch?" And it was then that I realized something. In my haste to fix the watch and bring her back, I hadn't considered the consequences. Now she was here, but she was still 9 years old, the age she had been when the fire took her. She had no memories of the life that could have been. I wanted to tell her, to explain what had happened, but I couldn't. How could I explain the complexities of time, of sacrifice, of love? In the end, I simply smiled and nodded. "Of course I fixed it, my little one. Now let's go home." We walked out of the cottage hand in hand, and I felt a sense of peace settle over me. My purpose was fulfilled. My daughter was back. What more could a father ask for? We walked. I noticed the townspeople staring at us, whispering to each other in hushed tones. Some looked at me with admiration, others with envy. They couldn't understand the bond between us, the love that defied time itself. We reached our home, or what was left of it. The fire had taken everything, but now it didn't matter. With Amelia by my side, I felt whole again. We went inside and I pulled out a blanket and some pillows. I made a bed for Amelia on the floor and tucked her in. She snuggled into the blanket, her eyes drooping. "It's getting late, Papa," she yawned. "Can I sleep here?" "Of course, my little one," I said, kissing her forehead. "This is your home now." She closed her eyes and fell asleep. And as I watched over her, I felt a profound sadness wash over me. It wasn't just the loss of the past 10 years of my life. No, it was the realization that now I was too old for her. I would never be able to replace her mother, would never be able to give her the childhood she deserved. In my haste to bring her back, I had forgotten about the consequences. But then again, would I have done anything differently? The answer is no. My love for Amelia knew no bounds. I would sacrifice anything, even my own existence, to see her smile one more time. And as I sat there watching over her, I knew that even if I didn't have any years left, even if I was too old to play with her or tell her stories, I was content. I had seen my daughter again, and that, I realized, was all that mattered. At the end.